Here's a here's a truth. You can love someone and still feel like something is wrong. Not enough to leave, not enough to explain, just enough that your body stops letting you ignore this thing. So nothing needs to be decided here. This is just a place for us to notice. You know, there's a quiet that shows up inside of a relationship. And I'm not talking about after it ends, and I'm not even talking about after a fight. It's quieter than that, it's more subtle than that. And if I'm being honest, it's heavier than that too. So you're still partnered, you're still committed, you're still showing up, and yet somewhere under the routines, under the shared plans that y'all have, under all of the we, something doesn't feel steady anymore. And it's not loud, doesn't make a scene. So you just kind of stop pointing it out. And sometimes you'll tell yourself, well, maybe it's nothing, maybe it's not a big deal, but it will keep kind of tapping away at you anyway. And once you feel that, you start pulling yourself back in a little. And you don't feel like you're pulling yourself away from the relationship. You just are pulling yourself back into yourself. And I call this like, at some point you can spill yourself out. And sometimes you can scoop your partner out of themselves too. And what I call it is, now it's time to give them back to themselves. And in the same way, you have to scoop yourself up back into yourself. So it's like you stop overreaching, you stop carrying more than your share. It's subtle, but it's real. And if you're new to this space, I am Minty Ray, and this is what I call the inner room. Now, before we go any further, I want you to know, what this space is about. I don't have any advice. I'm not a guru. It's not a strategy session. Just here to be a space for you to name things when they show up in you so that you can take them out of your body and give you some peace around around all aspects of your life, really. So like I said, this is a place for naming, for slowing things down enough to notice what's already happening inside of you. So it's like your body is aware, but your mind and your emotions haven't caught up yet. So this is a space that happens before you rush to explain something. This is before you attempt to fix something. And it's before you even decide something that you may not even be ready for. And it might feel unfamiliar to you right now, especially if you've spent your life being the one who adapts, the person who smooths things over and holds everything together. So if you're in a relationship and something just feels, a little bit off, it doesn't feel dramatic, it doesn't feel explosive, it just feels a little bit off, then you're not imagining it. And doing this thing, what we're talking about now, just noticing it, paying attention to it. Well, just noticing it. It doesn't make you disloyal. The kind of growth that I would like for us to be able to do here is not about changing your life overnight. It's about strengthening your ability to stay with yourself when something inside of you starts whispering. so that you don't react too quickly, um, so that you don't really act out of alignment. It's tension that you probably have been brushing off. It's fatigue that you keep normalizing. It's the part of you that's disappearing. It's getting quieter instead of getting louder. So when you name what's happening, your body can just finally relax. Because unnamed things feel like emergencies to our bodies. Named things feel like a place that you can stand and get yourself oriented, like what direction you want to go in. And really, that is the beginning of how stress starts to ease. It's not that you need to solve anything. It's instead you stop arguing with yourself. And midlife has a way of changing our volume. You know, what you used to tolerate starts to press in on you. It starts to get heavier. What used to feel manageable starts to feel expensive. And, earlier in life, many of us stayed by overriding ourselves. We talked ourselves out of discomfort, and, we mostly thought it was normal to do that. We told ourselves we were asking for too much. And at this stage, that really stops working. You start to ask something quieter. It's not, do I love them, but can I stay here without shrinking? And that question doesn't mean that you're leaving. That question doesn't mean that you're being disloyal to your relationship. It just means that you're listening now. I call it a quiet knowing. It's the moment when your body knows something before your mind even has words for it. You might also hear me call it something like pre-decisional awareness. Because, awareness is not a decision. And naming the thing that's showing up, it gives your nervous system. So it takes it out of your nervous system and it gives your nervous system permission to just settle. I know we know at this point that high cortisol levels, repeatedly high cortisol levels, it's just bad on our health. So, this is about working to align yourself. So nothing needs to be decided right now. This is where things might get a little bit tender. You can care deeply about someone and still feel that something isn't lining up anymore. You can be committed and feel a little off center inside of yourself. You can love someone and notice that you don't quite recognize yourself around them. Both of these things can be true, and pretending that they can't be, well, that's harmful to us. So the real question isn't, should I leave? It's gentler than that. It's more like, can I stay here without going numb to what I'm feeling? Can I stay present without explaining myself out of my own life experience? Can I be honest with myself without demanding certainty before that certainty is ready? Can I sit still? Can I sit and wait for clarity? That's where integrity lives. It's not in the answers, but it's in attention. When something feels wrong, taking care of yourself isn't avoidance. That's called stabilization. This isn't about pulling away or getting cold or planning an exit. It's about staying present while making sure you're standing on your own 2 feet. So you'll keep your rhythms, you'll keep your friendships, you'll keep your sense of self intact, not as a threat to the relationship, not as a punishment to anyone, just as self respect. There's no countdown clock. It's just a quiet truth. Something doesn't feel right. And it's okay to acknowledge that. And you're not abandoning your relationship, and you're no longer abandoning yourself by sitting with that. It feels like you're in 2 places at once. This kind of honesty isn't easy. It can feel uncomfortable. And you don't get to rush to clarity just to feel better. You don't get to hand your knowing over to someone else. We have to stay awake. You have to listen longer. And sometimes you have to sit in the unknowing. You have to sit with not having the answer yet. You have to sit without being able to fix it. You're not narrating it. You're not numbing yourself out. In midlife, commitment isn't endurance. It's not staying quiet to keep things in your world smooth. Commitment is you being present with yourself and with the relationship. It's being able to say, I'm here and I'm paying attention. You know, that's not 1 foot out. That's actually 2 feet planted firmly. If this is landing for you, you probably don't need to do anything just yet. You may just need to stop talking yourself out of what your body already knows. Preparation doesn't mean conclusion. It means staying loyal to yourself while clarity takes its time. And if you're strengthening yourself because something feels wrong, you're not being dramatic. You're being honest. You're choosing to stay present without disappearing in your process of life. And whatever unfolds, repair, recalibration, or truth becoming clearer, you'll meet it awake. You'll meet that grounded. And you'll meet it still being yourself. That is the work that we are doing here in the inner room. Thank you for being here today. If you know or love if you're in midlife, and if this resonates with you, please join. If I got an alarm going off, so I'm sorry about that. Please subscribe, rather. If you love someone who is in midlife, and you're relating to them, hang around if that's your jam too. All right. Take care of yourselves. I'm wrapping this up, and I will see you in the very next video.